feels very strange. Hello! Are you gonna do it? You can if you want. Hello and welcome to Heather and Hops. My name is Kat or Catherine and I'm an editor based in Hertfordshire in the United Kingdom. If you're new here, welcome. This is not our usual setup, so to speak. If you're returning and have a cute eyes, you'll notice that we are somewhere else. Today we're coming to you from Perthshire in Scotland. We are on our summer holidays. It is almost horizontal raining outside, so we thought we would sit down and re-record the podcast that I did record on Sunday. Now I forgot a lot of important things on Sunday, so I thought I would take this opportunity to talk to you all. If you haven't met Alex before, this is Alex. Alex is working on a jumper, which you can talk about when we're talking about whips, if you'd like to. So if you haven't got a beverage and would like one, this is a great time to grab one. I have just opened a little miniature that Alex purchased for me, and it's a Heather Rose gin, of which both are two of my favourite plants, and also my pseudo-names if you know me on the internet, and it is quite lovely. So today I am wearing my Wrap Me Up cardigan, which is a pattern by Plum Mum, and it is knitted in Drops Kid Silk Mohair in the sage green colourway. And I'm also wearing my black short sleeve Ranunculus, so I'm extra cosy because it is quite chilly today, and quite wrapped up. I'm going to talk a little bit more at the end of this episode, or towards the end of the episode, about our Discord group, who have almost not everyone, but a lot of us have done a sort of miniature knit along where we all knitted Ranunculus. Those that it was their first knit of the Ranunculus have, quite a few of them have decided to cast on not just one but another one, so it's been quite a popular pattern among our little group. There is about 65-70 of us now in our Discord chat, and it's quite an active hub. It's wonderful. So if you are looking for a knitting community because during this time or just in general you struggle to find people to connect with, everyone's welcome, and it like I say, it's a wonderful place to hang out, and on Monday nights we all meet and video chat. So I'll stop talking about that now. Anything else I need to add to that? No? I don't know. Sometimes you're quite good at this. So we'll start with some finished objects. I'm going to show you one hat, and I'm going to have to quickly snip back to Sunday when I recorded, because I don't have it with me. We went to visit our favourite farm. Can I say favourite farm?
Yeah.
It's a bit strange. And one of the lovely children there has borrowed my hat until tomorrow, so I don't have it here to share. But I will share it first. And I knitted the Best Beret by James N. Watts, and I won't talk about the other one. And I knit it using my own hand-dyed yarn. And here it is. So this was a colourway that I dyed up in January, I believe, inspired by one of the bands that I listen to quite frequently, especially in the car, Paramore. And they released an album a few years back called After Laughter, and this is sort of based on not just the album cover, but in a lot of their videos and when they're on stage they were wearing these colours in particular, red, yellow and blue. I've quite enjoyed knitting this up. It did knit up in an evening and an extra hour the next day, so it was a very fast knit. It doesn't use too much yarn at all, and I opted to go down a needle size, maybe even 2 needle sizes, and do the largest cast on and halfway between the dramatic silhouette and the normal silhouette. So I was aiming to get a slightly more oversized beret than my last one that I knitted, but it's come out pretty perfect. I haven't blocked it. It will have a slightly, well, an even more smooth finish when I do so, but I thought I'd bring it along because I will probably get a chance to wear this one while I'm here. And this does go very well with my autumn coat, which is probably one of the ugliest things I own, apart from my dog jacket that I've just taken off. It is incredibly oversized on me, and it is almost a perfect match to this lilac colour. But if you are on the hunt for a beret pattern, this is wonderful, and it's a worsted weight pattern, but as you can see, you could knit it. But as long as you know your gauge and roughly where you're going, you could knit it using any yarn and it comes out lovely. And the cute little I-cord nubbin on the end, which it has directions for doing a double I-cord bind off. So it's a lovely pattern, and James has written it very clearly. So there's that one. And insert footage of other hat. Next one. So it's kind of a bit heavy on the drops mohair today, and again I'd love to know more about drops and their ethics, especially when it comes to mohair, since it is very affordable and I do really like the yarn. I get a lot of wear from anything that I have knitted using drops mohair, and I do think the amount of colours is amazing. I mean, the pricing's amazing, but I would like to know more about that, and that is something that I am kind of on the hunt for information for, and I'm not sure that even if I sent an email to them I would get a response, but maybe that's something that I will do in the future. And these are my For the Frill of It socks that do look very simple, and they kind of are, but they are all black socks that are slightly hairy, not only because I have mohair on today, but I did wear them snuggled up on the sofa with little Audrey the other day. Little Audrey. But I chose to do the woman's medium size and match the foot length to my own, which is about the same as what is written in the pattern. And I did the frill is exactly in pattern, and if you wanted to make the frill shorter, you definitely, for Alex's face, definitely could by just taking the repeats down or not doing the extra rows of stockinette stitch. But I'm really chuffed with these socks, and I can't wait to wear them with my Dr. Martens. Now the weather's kind of turned past wearing frilly socks up here because of the rain, but when we go back down south I am going to very much enjoy wearing these with my clogs and my Dr. Martens, walking around the crunchy leaves, which it's really turning. If you're in the UK, you would probably be noticing that about now, how yellow and orange is starting to creep in, and probably the talk of that green coffee shop's pumpkin spice latte. So yeah, this is my own sock pattern. If you're looking for a vanilla sock recipe, I'm not pushing it, but it's just quite a good pattern in that it comes from tiny baby newborn size all the way up to men's large. So if I think you'd be a men's medium, but if you wanted some frilly socks,
well, maybe.
Yeah, so there you go. Fun pattern. I enjoyed it. These ones were with a fish lips kiss, which I do note down that's what can be used in the pattern, and this is the first time in a long time that I did a stockinette fish lips kiss as opposed to the garter stitch. And the only reason for that was that I do like the squishy garter heel, but if I'm wearing these with clogs or sandals, which I might do if I'm going, not out, we don't do out, but going to a restaurant and I've got my heels showing, I don't really want garter. So yeah, very happy with these ones. I might even put them on since I'm not wearing socks. Now that was it for finished objects, but I actually finished one this morning that I'd spoken about, and I'll show you the first version of it first. Now that is here. So I brought all my finished objects in this cute little cat knitting bag that my friend Becky made for me, and it's really, supports itself. And I have spoken to her, and we are going to, once we're allowed to sit closer than 2 meters apart, we will be recording together, so that's really exciting. Now this one, I didn't ever share, and I knitted this in May? And I've knitted this twice already, and this was knitted after I knit and designed a gift for Alex's lovely mum, and this version of it was knitted in Biff Sugar Yarns Merino in the colour, I'm not going to be able to say it, Demilza? I'm going to put it in the screen to make my life a lot easier right now. But it's a gorgeous colour, and she still does have it in the shop, but I believe that her merino base has changed since. This was a 230 metre 115 gram skein, and I really like it, but what I have done is re-knitted it because after sharing it with a couple of people, some people really liked it, so I've written it up and I have actually finished a new version which I am really quite excited by. So here she is, and I believe, I'm thinking she's going to be called the Spirit Guardian cow, which is a little nod to Dungeons and Dragons. There's a spell called Spiritual Weapon or Spirit Guardians, and it's sort of a mingle between those two because it will protect you from the elements, especially in the autumn. I'll put it on. And I've written it up for a few different sizes. Oh, it's really snuggly, but it will be too warm to be wearing that in the house now. And I have some testers that are going to be testing it really soon, which is really exciting. But you can see it's got some cabling, a little bit of ribbing, and the way I've written it will be to have one really quite snug size like this one, so it will sit really nicely hugging tight, which I think will be probably more suitable for when you're on adventures and you don't want anything too heavy, especially if you did mohair and a fingering weight, it will be particularly light and snugging close. And then a slightly wider, longer version, which to be honest was quite nice when we were outside in the rain, tucked into my rain jacket earlier. But there's quite a few options and I quite like it. But this one was knitted in a fingering weight yarn, slightly heavier fingering weight yarn, so a 365 metre skein with mohair, and this one was knitted in just DK, so it's quite good for options. And this used every last scrap of a full skein, and this one used near enough all of a full slightly larger skein. So if you do have a really nice DK weight indie dyed yarn and you've got some minis that might match, you could do the whole thing apart from the ribbing and do a contrast colour. But that's this little pattern. And this yarn, because it is really gorgeous, the colour is sort of, well, it says it in the name, and I do think this is really on point because am I talking really quickly? No. Okay, good. I do feel a bit chaotic neutral today. So this is Fibre Spates Vivacious 4-ply, which is in 100% superwash merino, which we all know that I'm not convinced on superwash, that is. But it's 365 metres per skein, and the colourway is called Shoreline, which I really love. And I held it with this drops mohair, and I did use 2 skeins for this one, or 2 balls, but they're only 25 grams each. And I did think I saved this because it had the colour on, and I don't normally get the colour. So this is colour number 7, whatever that might be, which I will try and get off the Wool Warehouse website to share. But the reason Shoreline kind of works at the moment is that if you are a follower of Rachel Maxey, who's one of my favourite human beings on the planet, or Ginny Di, who is one of my favourite Dungeons and Dragons sort of human beings, they have been doing videos on made up aesthetics. Rachel's is hilarious and goes from Whiskey Grandpa to Nightcore, which is amazing, by the way. If you haven't heard of Rachel, I don't know how, but do have a little watch of the video. And Ginny did one on Dungeons and Dragons aesthetics, but I was thinking about what mine would be, and I thought it would be like probably woodland fairy grandpa punk, maybe folk punk, or woodland mermaid fairy, which doesn't work, but it does. I think that's probably what I'd go for. But Shoreline really goes with it. And when this came in the post, it kind of goes in with this one, which I am really excited by, which is living in my sheepy girl so sheepy bag, which was a gift. But this arrived in the post. And it is just gorgeous. So this is, yeah, it is I'm Really a Mermaid by the Dotty Wool Company. Now, I didn't know Ruth, hi Ruth if you are here, watched or knew of my podcast, but she said that she'd seen in the note she sent along with it, said she'd seen that I was going to give away the ones that I purchased for my birthday, so she sent me this one, and the fact that it was a mermaid colour was just made me kind of reinforce that maybe somewhere in my aesthetic should be mermaid. She also sent me this gorgeous little mini that actually goes with not just my mermaid colour, but also the Mrs. Claus socks, which I'll try and pop on the screen. And this is another gorgeous yarn that might work for the shawl, for the cow, because it's 365 metres per 100 grams. And I love that it's high twist, which really does help show the gorgeous cables. But anyway, while I was playing Dungeons and Dragons on Saturday night, I cast them on, and I am really happy with how these are knitting up. Now, if you've been here for a little while, you'll know that I'm not really a complicated sock knitter. Even though I've knitted a few pairs of pattern socks, I'm not usually drawn to them, and until I learnt to use 9-inch circulars or do 2 at a time socks, I really suffered with second sock syndrome, not wanting to knit the second sock if I was doing a textured sock. But these are knitting up really quickly. This is simply a vanilla sock pattern that is from my frilly socks. I've done some ribbing, and all I've done is a very simple, I thought it looked like mermaid's scales pattern almost, and a garter fishlip kiss heel. You can also see the lovely Nicole's stitch marker on there from Time Weaver on Instagram, which is also a gift. So this is all just kind of really sweet. I'm very blessed to have started this podcast and connect with so many lovely people. Definitely friends before they ever considered sending me gifts, but this self-striping yarn is amazing, and I didn't know that I would love seeing the texture on stripy socks this much, but these ones are for me. I'm not gifting these. And usually I can get, for my size foot, if I'm using a contrast heel and toe, I can get 2 pairs of socks out of a 100-gram skein. So I will maybe do a pair of shorties for someone if they're, you know, if I get the urge to cast on a pair of socks for a gift. But I am very excited to work some more on these, especially if it means I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons at the same time. And the lovely Mary in our knitting group is actually going to host a one-shot for a group of us, and she'll do another, well, it might be another DM because we have a few DMs in our group now, which is cool, might host another. So we are combining that, which is absolutely awesome. Maybe Heather could be my knitting character's name. That would make sense. Anyway, that is finished objects and works in progress. I think. Yeah, I am working on a mystery knit along, but I'm not going to talk about it until a few more clues have come out, because they are as quick as weekly. What I will say is that it's lovely. It's the Pages of Wands cowl by Audrey, and I can't remember, and I love that her name's Audrey, because we know that little Audrey, who is the podcast mascot, so to speak, but I can't remember her knitting sort of design name. But she is lovely. She does gorgeous designs, quite a popular French designer, and it is based on the tarot cards. So every week there's sort of 2, 3 or 4 tarot card inspired sections of almost Fair Isle-ish, not quite, but colourwork pattern cowl, and it's really fun. And I have based my colours that I've chosen, very similar to what Audrey has done, on Molly Mock. So if you are a Critical Role fan, you'll know what colours I've probably gone for, but I will show you that in a few weeks when it's less likely to be a problem with spoilers. But I was gifted the pattern by a beautiful follower who just said that I might enjoy it, and I've been enjoying it more than I could express. So I think that is everything from me. Do you want to talk about what you're knitting?
I can do.
Yeah?
I'm knitting a very plain, very black raglan jumper.
Got all of them markers.
Which is covered in Audrey's hair,
Yeah.
and bits of mohair from Kat's many items of knitted clothing. Yeah, and I'm pretty much getting there. Got just one more sleeve to go.
Yeah.
But it's been a very long process because I tend not to have so much time to knit.
Yeah, Alex. So this was actually based on, Alex has got a jumper that you don't wear it, really.
Yeah, I should.
But it's the jumper that fits Alex really well. We took the measurements, we converted it into a raglan jumper for him, and other than some of the ribbing and the casting on and binding off, Alex has knitted this entirely on his own, including tallying off how many decreases done and keeping tabs.
Quite a few.
It has been tried on now, which is amazing, and it does fit. And it's being knitted using Drops Nepal, I believe.
It is.
But yeah, so this is a bit of a drops session, but Alex has made this almost like chainmail. It's amazingly tight. He's such a neat knitter by comparison to Miss Loosey Goosey over here. But he's buying it. I did a few stitches for him, and they're significantly looser.
Shall we show the people the distinctive difference between mine and your knitting?
Yeah.
Wonder if it will show up.
I'm sure it will. I'll hide away.
So this line here, above the line is my knitting, and below the line is Kat's knitting.
What are you sipping on as well? Before we.
I'm drinking a local beer called Sir Keith.
Sir Keith. The lovely purple bottle. There you go. By Keith Brewery in Keith in Scotland. How on point. So yeah, we are on a little adventure where, well, we were hoping to help out on the farm, but there's been a few more curveballs as 2020 is likely to have. Not bad curveballs this time.
No.
Quite exciting. Alex is going on a little adventure tomorrow. I will probably spend time at the farm, maybe chasing the 8-year-old round for my hat, trying to maybe swap my beret for my beanie hat. Hopefully I get to go and play with the goats too. And I'm also going to do my best to get in touch with a wonderful farm that we drove past that gets their own wool milled, which is very cool. Also looks like it's hand-dyed yarn. So I'm hoping to do a video on that. We'll see if that can happen because it's incredibly short notice. And we're here until Saturday, and then we're visiting Newcastle for a couple of nights, and then we're back home to Little Audrey for a little while. Can you believe it? It would be good if I could bring her everywhere, wouldn't it? She's lovely. She's not behaved like a dog when she's out there. She used to sit in my basket when I used to go to the park, and we'd sit, and that was lovely. But she doesn't really like dogs, which is not a surprise because Mia, my parents' dog that visits, is 45 kilos and has the loudest bark on the planet and terrifies her, bless her. But she doesn't come around very often, so that's okay. But yeah, I think is that everything?
That's everything.
That's everything. So I'm gonna
show the people the horizontal rain when we finish.
Yeah. So it has been an absolute pleasure to catch up with you. I hope you have a really lovely time no matter what you're up to. I hope you get a little bit of a chance to make and do, knit, craft in any way you do, a little bit of self-care, and I hope to speak to you again very soon. So here is a little bit of a photo montage of our Ranunculus knits, and I have just popped up the Instagram handles that match the knitters so that you can maybe talk to them if you love the yarn they've used in particular, because it's quite difficult to go through all these beautiful items and note down what they've used. Now a little glimpse into our adventure. I hope you enjoy joining us as we go. So this beach has actually been Druridge Bay, but here Alex's mother accidentally spotted or fell into some quicksand, and here's Alex delving out of choice into some quicksand. After the beach we headed to Dansenborough Castle and we saw some sheep.
Kat, these are the berries.
Red currants?
Yes. They look a bit like that, don't they? Heavily used in herbal medicine. The berries, I know people using the berries in chutney.
You're so camouflaged that I can't get you in focus.
It's so big, isn't it?
And this is super special because it's tea grown entirely in Scotland from seed. And the gorgeous colours of the cornflowers and the chamomile together. I do think it's so wonderful watching the bees at work. I could sit here for hours. And settling in after a really nice catch up over many cups of tea at our Airbnb for the next few days. You what?